What is your upper limit problem? That's my question for you today. And you might be asking, what the hell's an upper limit problem? Well, let me explain. Towards the end of last year, I kind of started noticing a pattern that I was in, to where I'd get some momentum in a goal that I was trying to achieve, and then something would happen to kind of derail me, or as my wife says, the wheels would just completely fall off the bus. Right? Have you ever had those moments where it's like you're getting some momentum, you're gaining some action or some progress, you're getting some success, and then something happens and everything goes to shit? Well, I started noticing that I had this like cycle that I was going through, and I'd go through this cycle a few times a year where I'd get some momentum, I'd plan, I'd take some action, I'd get some success, and then I'd just get my ass handed to me. I'd be punched down and knocked into the dirt, and I found myself there over and over and over again. And I started asking myself, I'm wondering if I'm doing this. I wonder if that I'm the cause of this and not everybody and everything else. So I started to do some research, and what I found this gentleman out of Stanford. His name is Gay Hendricks. He's a PhD, a psychologist out of Stanford, and he wrote a book. Actually, he wrote several books, but one book that he wrote that I love is The Big Leap. And Gay Hendricks talks about this phenomenon that he's coined the upper limit problem. And sorry, Dr. Hendricks, I'm going to explain the upper limit problem to the best of my ability, so I apologize if I butcher this. But his concept of the upper limit problem, or his definition of the upper limit problem, is this. We all have an internal thermostat of how good we're allowed to feel. When life exceeds that setting, we unconsciously dial it back down. So let me say that in a different way. When things are going well in our lives, we have more love, we have more success, we have more happiness than we're used to. And then instead of enjoying it, we unconsciously self-sabotage it by bringing ourselves back down to a familiar level of comfort. And when I read that, it was like this aha moment. I was so grateful. It was like a gift from God, a gift from the universe, that I'm not crazy, but I am actually unconsciously self-sabotaging myself. And how it manifested for me is I would unconsciously overdo it at the gym, and I would work out really hard at the gym and I'd hurt my back. Or I would actually find myself getting sick. I would get a head cold, or I would get a stomach virus, or I would start having these phantom pains in my body. I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac, so I'd like focus on these phantom pains, and instead of continuing on my success route, I go to the doctor to try and figure out what's happening. So I recognized that I have an upper limit problem. And once I recognized that I had this upper limit problem, I was able to see it when it showed up. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to go and do some research on the upper limit problem. If you want to, buy Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap. I'm not affiliated with Dr. Hendricks. I don't get any kickbacks. He doesn't even know I exist. But I think it's a fantastic book to read. And I think if you struggle with this, if you struggle with just like having a certain level of success and you just can't get there because something always happens, I bet you have an upper limit problem. And from what I heard, or from what I've been told, or from what I read, we all have one. I hope this helped. I'll talk to you in the next video.